Okay, I want to show you how to take a function, graph it as correctly as possible in your TI84, 83, and to observe where the intervals of increase, decrease, or constancies are. So I've typed in the following function. I've hit y1 or y equals, and in y equals, I've in y1 typed x times the square root of 1 minus x. So the radicand is 1 minus x. And this is an even root, so that means that x must be less than or equal to 1. That's the domain. Hit the window key next. What I've chosen is an x minimum of -5, an x maximum of 5, a scale value of 1, y minimum from -10 to 10, and a y scale of 1. These values here down here don't matter so much. So then go ahead and hit graph. So should get a graph that looks something like this, and as we can see, the function is increasing as we continue to the right. But there is a point where it comes back down to the x-axis, and that makes sense because when you plug 1 into the function, you're going to get 0. So effectively what we want to do is we want to zoom in on this region. So okay, how do we do that? Well, hit the trace key and a little cursor should appear. You can tell where your cursor is by the x and the y coordinates down here. Use the control pad to move the cursor. And what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom in on this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to zoom, and usually what I do is I choose number 9, zoom stat, option 9. Now it's zoomed in a little bit. Okay, so I can see it a little bit better, but I'd like to zoom in even more. So I don't want to have to waste time by choosing zoom stat again and again and again and again. So what I do is I look at this visually. These tick marks are 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I adjust my window accordingly, then I'll be able to zoom in a much more controlled way. So I hit the window key, and this time I'm going to let x min be 0. I'm going to let x max be 1. I'm going to let y min be -1, and I'm going to let y max be 1. And that will allow me to control the box that I zoom in on. So now, here we go. It goes up, and then it comes back down. Hit the trace key, and now I can move in a much more detailed way. Okay? But I want a very good approximation to where this relative max is. This is called a relative max. So it's increasing, and then it gets to this point right here. And that's a relative max, and then it's decreasing. Well, the calculator allows me an option to figure out what that value is. So I'm going to put the cursor a little bit to the left of that relative max, and I'm going to go to second calc. So what I do is I go to second calc and I choose maximum. Position the cursor a little bit to the left of that relative max, and then position the cursor a little bit to the right of that relative max, and then hit enter. And so there it is. My relative max is about 0.66 repeating, 7.2. Looks like it's 2/3 to me. And so that 2/3, which is 0.6 repeating, would be a really good value. So I can actually say now, if I go back to my window, let's zoom back out again, -5 to 5, and then -10 to 10. So I could say then with confidence that this function is increasing on the interval from -infinity to 2/3, and then it's decreasing on the interval from 2/3 to 1. And that's how you can use your calculator to find relative maxes, relative mins, and how you can more successfully give me the intervals of increase and decrease. God bless you, wherever you are today.